So I'm just creating a big cylinder. You need to play around with the scale a bit, just make it an even number. Remove the centers. And I just want to move this out and just remove the center edges, which will make it straight. Yeah, just try to scale it up correctly. Make those end seams to touch on the end of the cylinder where it is resting on. Yeah, just make a proper ending. And this is where we will be using booleans. So I will just turn the audio on to normal speed and just resume the video to normal speed. Okay. To create the holes in here, like these ones, and here the small ones and also the bigger ones. So let's start doing that now. So if I go to my front view and I create a cylinder, just place it roughly around here and just make a task that it sticks out on both ends. And I want to make this 18 sides and just one gap segment. And yeah, place it roughly around here, duplicate it, scale it down, to place a smaller one here. Make sure that it still sticks out on both sides, like this. I want to hold shift and just drag this down to copy this over here. Now for this one, I want to duplicate this cylinder again, and this one will be a big one. It will just have a faint outline. Oh. So it still needs to have an edge over here. Let's double check, let's just move this up a little bit. Let's actually select all of this and let's isolate it so that you have a better view. Let's then move this up and to the side. Seems about right. Okay, and now I want to duplicate this one again. Just scale it down and just set it roughly around here. Just basically follow the holes in your reference, like this. Okay, that looks good. So now if we select our cylinder, yes, so once we select a cylinder, go to geometry, compound objects and press Pro Boolean. And then before we do anything, make sure that it's on subtraction. If you then go to advanced options and just over here tick remove only invisible, and then just press start picking and just click on all your cylinders like this. It very quickly creates all the booleans for us. Now let's convert this back to editable poly. Just select all vertices, let's just weld them, just to be sure, to 0.01. Okay. Let's just leave that like this, because before we are going to do anything else, we want to select this edge and ring it, and we want to just connect it so that we have a center line in here. And I want to chamfer this. Let's set the edge segments to 2. And basically we are going to make another seam here, like this. Now I want to select these two edges. Let's go to loops, distance connect, or actually in this case this won't work as good. Let's actually just select all of them, loops, connect, and let's set these to 2. Let's move them out a little bit. And also for these, same for them. Make them the same size as this line over here, like this. Let's add a Swift loop, roughly around here. And let's once again chamfer it. .05. Here we go. Now we want to select the center lines. Just deselect that one and this one. I think you see where we are going with this. We want to make a nice way around it. Okay, looks good. So now let's go into front view and let's just scale it down and inwards. Trying to be as precise as possible. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now that's done. Let's get back to our booleans. So to save some time, in this case what I like to do is I like to just select these faces, hold shift and go to vertex mode to select all the vertices around it. And then what I want to do is I want to go to loops and just press connect. And now if we go press 4 again, it will still have all the faces selected. See, I think sorry. So do it one by one, because else you get all those segments also here in the center and we don't want that. So let's select one face, go to vertices, connect, go back to faces, and then in geometry click under here and quadrify, don't really know how to pronounce it, selection, to clean it up a little bit. Do the same here. Here we go. So I'm just going to speed this up again, just to save some time. So right now I am just merging some leftover vertices and just cleaning up the boolean by removing some faces that don't make sense, or like double faces, double vertices, and just random vertices that are not connected to anything, like over here. Booleans often leave like weird stuff on, so we just want to get rid of that. I'm now just doing this on both sides. And I'm just applying smooth modifier because the smoothing was a bit wrong. And right over here I just want to collapse these vertices because we had 2 of them. So I'm just doing that on both sides. Now here I'm just making this, adding a connection, and I'm just capping the polys on both sides to make them close together. And now I'm using the connect function again to just connect those polys, so that all the vertices are connected. And right now what I want to do is I want to just start turning it into a high poly by placing my Swift loops inside of the cylinders, and also outside, and also within those nice little seams that we will be using for our high poly. I'm just using the cut to connect everything, because over there we have some problems with the geometry flow. And now in the inside I'm also just placing my Swift loops. Here we go. Now I'm using the cut function to cut around my cylinders, because else they will just completely collapse over the turbo smooth. So just make sure that you have a entire edge going all the way around that connects itself, so no loose ends. And do that for all the cylinders. Also the big ones over here. Sometimes I'm just placing some extra vertices if I'm missing some, that prevent me to go around nicely, like over here. And I'm also cutting around this edge over here so that we can keep the sharp angle. And I'm doing the same for the other side. So just cut around it. And also around these edges again. And then just go all the way around. There you go. Around that edge again. I'm just inserting these faces so that you have an insert. I'm throwing on my turbo smooth, and I can see that I forgot one of the cylinders, so I'm also just cutting around those like this. And I'm also cutting on the outer side because I forgot that. So just go all the way around on the outer side, the same way you do for the rest of the cylinders, and apply extra edges if needed. Like this. And here we go, that looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a cylinder in here and just try to scale it properly and just make it the same as in the reference. Still don't exactly know how you call it. I'm just extruding this by setting it on bipolygon, which will extrude every polygon separately, and then I'm just deselecting these edges, set edges, so we only have the outer selected, and I'm just beveling that or chamfering that, which will give a nice smooth result when we use turbo smooth on it. So I'm just turning this into a high poly now. Remove the back, insert this, and now if you turn on turbo smooth you can see that we have a nice smooth model. And now I'm just copying this and I'm just matching up these cylinders, so I'm rotating it and exactly matching up those cylinders. And we do that so that we can have like the brackets in between. And I'm also copying it again, just figuring out the right scale for this. So over here, so for these brackets, just figure out the right scale